I want to hear about your dinner with the president. What did you, Bill Maher, and Dana White and the president talk about?
You know, it went so well. We talked about a lot of things that we had in common, which Bill Maher is a big, supporter of Trump's stance on the border, of ending wokeism. The president even asked him about policy, like what he thought with Iran getting a nuclear weapon and how Israel should react. Bill's a big supporter of Israel. We broke bread and talked about things we had in common, and it could not have been more cordial, more nice. I think everyone was so pleasantly surprised. I mean, it was so nice to have my friend Dana White there, and Dana goes, he told me, Bob, you did the right thing here. This was a good thing. Because everyone was a little suspect about it. Even the president had called me a few days ago. He goes, what the hell you got me doing here? And I'm like, we're just trying to break bread with some of our biggest critics and say, like, hey, it's okay to talk to one another. We can maybe bring a little bit of civility back to this country for reasonable people.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Bill Maher, who apparently visited the White House to have dinner with the president, even though Bill Maher is extremely Trump deranged. But, hey, I respect him for going to the White House to sit down with the president. Now, this video is not about him sitting down with the president, but I do think it's important to give proper context in regards to the video we will be talking about, because this video was recorded before he went to meet the president. And it seems as if Bill Maher has understood that he has lost the woke crowd, right? That he's basically in a place of his own when it comes to his liberal politics, right? A place that is kind of lonely, right? In the sense that he's still liberal, but at the same time, he's not woke, and he doesn't like the wokeness that is happening in the Democrat Party. And maybe, just maybe, right, there is some hope that sane people can come together, right, in this country, which I think part of the reason why he was motivated to actually go to the White House to visit the president.
Which is, I'm an old school liberal, but, I'm not going to get on the crazy train with you. If you go someplace weird. I was saying to Maureen Dowd, she was here last week, that my parents, who loved your father, loved Kennedy. My father, very Irish, loved the Kennedys. I mean, been gone these 30-something years. I don't know where his politics would be. A dyed-in-the-wool Kennedy liberal Democrat, if he came back and saw some of the shit that was going on the left, and my Jewish mother, if she saw them chanting for Hamas, I can't guarantee they wouldn't be for Trump. They're World War II people. Mm-hmm. I can't get, that's not who they were, but so much has changed in 30 years. I mean, so, weird.
You're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just like, maybe this is a beginning to heal America. Now, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town. And I don't shrink from that. And I've also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give you a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburbs, was invited for a private dinner to the White House, you glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot. I'm impressed the fuck out of it. I get to go to the White House, and yes, that is the structure of this dinner, is just let's talk. Let's talk to each other face to face. Let's not stop shouting from 3,000 miles away.
Yeah, so what you have there is Bill Maher clearly not so Trump deranged that he doesn't want to meet with the president, right? That he will actually sit down and have dinner with the president. You have most people that are Trump deranged. Yeah, they're not going to the White House, right? They don't want to be in President Trump's presence whatsoever. I mean, you have people like Rosie O'Donnell who has fled the country, right? She's gone all the way to Ireland. And President Trump is still living rent-free in her head, right? So Bill Maher's Trump derangement is not that severe. In fact, I actually think that Bill Maher admires President Trump, which is exactly what he's going to admit in this conversation with Chris Cuomo. And he actually wishes that Democrats, the male candidates, the leaders of the Democrat Party, would be more like President Trump. So without further ado, let's get into it.
There's a couple of times when, look, I've been his biggest critic for good reason. And when he got reelected, I said, I'm not going to pre-hate anything. And then the first week I said, well, there's lots of things I hate, because I do. Okay, there's some things I don't hate also, but the way he can do that and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I got to give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care. It's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love that. Mm-hmm. One time they were doing something was going on with, and he said, you know what? When you come after New York, you got to go through me. It's like, oh, hometown boy. You know, he has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy.
They need a message, and then you find you find the messenger. No, but that's how it works for Trump.
That's the worst thing. The Democrats always say, message, here a message. Yeah, first of all, they did, and they don't like it. Second of all, they don't give a shit. It's not about the message. Trump changes his message from day to day. Tariffs everywhere. Tariffs nowhere.
Those are policy
It doesn't
decisions.
matter. But they don't care about policy.
His
They
message-
don't understand it. His message is, I'm me, I'm strong, and I'm daddy. You know, they're on this daddy thing, you know, and people want a daddy. You know, Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, you've heard that thing about daddy came home and you need a spanking. And I'm like, this is getting a little weird, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think that Bill Maher has a point about the fact that, again, the Democrats do not have somebody like President Trump. However, President Trump's popularity is not just because he's a strong man, but also because of the fact that people do agree with his policies, right? His America First agenda, right? That is the message. The message is America First. But when it comes to Democrats, the message is America Last, right? America Last, and don't believe your lying eyes, right? That is the message from Democrats at this point. And I think that's what Bill Maher is missing, right? It's not just about, again, the messenger. It is also about the message as well, too, okay? Because there have been plenty of billionaires that have tried to run for president, right? And they have not been nearly as effective as President Trump because, again, the message was not correct. It was not the right message. Again, so to say that message is not an issue, right, or that message doesn't matter, I think is inaccurate, right? I think that Bill Maher thinks that voters are dumber than they actually are, which, you know, hey, could be true for liberals. Certainly it's true for the progressives and the far left, but I don't think that's true for MAGA, right? When it comes to Trump supporters, again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, again, President Trump has the right message and his policies have been good policies that people generally agree with, right? So to say that policy is not a part of it, I think is inaccurate. But regardless, what Bill Maher is pointing out here is that, again, President Trump, he leads with strength, right? He leads from a position of strength, and that's what's missing from the Democrat Party and their leadership.
No, daddy, but you know what? That's what works, and that's what people respond to. They don't know the issues. They don't know the facts.
I agree.
And they have no interest in learning about them. They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear, or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha. And it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. You know, that's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Give me rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. You know, that you got to appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level. You just do. And Trump does it better than anybody.
Trump does.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of hilarious because overall what he's saying is that, again, Trump is strong and masculine and that Democrats are weak and feminine in regards to their male leadership. And he's right. Democrats, their party, right, their leadership, they kind of run it like a Disney movie, right? In the sense that all of the male leaders are these, again, weak, feminine men that defer to women, right? And the women are so strong and the women are going to take care of everything and they're going to do everything, right? You remember Nancy Pelosi when Chuck Schumer folded to the Republicans when it comes to the government shutdown thing? Nancy Pelosi was out here talking about how the Democrats in the Senate, they need to listen to women, right? Listen to the women. And I said this while Kamala Harris was running for president. I was like, who in the world wants to vote for an incompetent woman and a feminine man? Right? I mean, that is the worst combination, okay? An incompetent woman and a feminine man. Nobody wants to vote for that, right? Nobody wants to vote for that at all. But that's basically the only combination that the Democrats can run at this point because their party's so woke that if they actually have a primary, they're likely going to choose a woman. Okay, AOC, Kamala Harris, they're leading the Democrat Party right now, right? When you talk about the top people in the party, there are no masculine men that can win a Democrat primary right now, right? None, okay? I think the best chance they got is Gavin Newsom, and his record is too bad, right? His record is way too woke, and he's already taken flack from the far left for running against or running away from his record, right? Because that's what Gavin is trying to do right now, his little podcast. So even their best shot, right, of having some type of masculine leadership, again, he's way too compromised, right, in order to have a chance, to have a shot. But in order for Democrats to win a general election, to have any chance of winning a general election, out of the primary process, they have to have a masculine man. But they can't have a masculine man because the Democrat Party is not a party for masculine men, right? Their voter base are liberal women who don't like masculine men. Right? They like feminine men, right? Like the Tim Walzes and the Tim Kaines of the world, okay? They like that. And then, you know, you got the far left base of socialists, of communists. They don't like anybody that doesn't agree with them 100%, right? Yeah, it's impossible for a masculine, sane man to come out of the Democrat primary. This is why the party's cooked. Right. This is why I don't understand why Bill Maher continues to openly support the Democrat Party. I know he's hoping that Gavin Newsom will, you know, be that guy. Right. But again, Gavin Newsom, his record is way too bad. He can't run away from that. And I don't even understand why Bill Maher would want to vote for somebody like Gavin Newsom over the Republican candidate come 2028. Right. So, you know, again, my point is this. I think Bill Maher is right in the sense that Democrats don't have masculine leadership, right? Their leadership right now is beta, okay? And a lot of people can see that. Even Bill Maher can see that Tim Walz is, again, not the most masculine figure, but the Democrats don't have anybody, right? The reason why they're rolling Tim Walz out there is because they don't have anybody. They literally have nobody at all. And no masculine man wants to be associated with the Democrat Party at this point. This is why you're having a hard time finding any of them that will come out and help the Democrat Party revive itself, right? Because they don't have any. So my message to Bill Maher is that the Democrat Party is going to stay woke, right? So I'm just saying, if wokeness is really that bad to you, right? Again, it's Google for Cocoa Puffs world. We can agree. Then why are you signing up to be a part of a party, to shield on behalf of a party that embraces such nonsense when you have much more reasonable alternatives? I really don't get it. Okay, I don't think I'll ever get it, but who knows? Maybe Bill Maher will come around one day, him going to the White House, could be a sign of that happening. I don't know. Maybe after Trump is done, maybe he'll come around. I'm just saying that if he's expecting the Democrats to not be woke in the future, that ain't happening, right? I think they're permanently woke. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.